Hi guys, this is gsmdom.com. I'm here with the Nokia Lumia 820 for a full review of this handset with a removable plasticky polycarbonate shell. So we're dealing here with a phone that was launched towards the end of the year 2012. It was announced in September 2012 with the first wave of Windows Phone 8 devices, and it costs $349 free of contract or AT&T, or if you want it on contract you can get it for free on the same carrier. So as I said, this was one of the first Windows Phone 8 devices together with the Lumia 920 that we already reviewed. This is the cheaper version of the Lumia 920, as some people have been saying. So let's get to the design. As you can see, we're dealing with a less rounded handset compared to the Lumia 920. This one is 9.9mm thick. It weighs 160 grams, which is pretty heavy for a mid-range phone, and the design is overall similar to the Lumia 710 if you ask me. We got the usual capacitive buttons right here below the display, and we got the side buttons, all of them on one side, volume buttons, on-off button and camera button right here. This is the micro USB port and the speaker next to it. We got a plastic finish on the buttons on the side, and we have this removable polycarbonate shell that you can start removing by pulling this area right here. The only bad thing is that it wiggles, so when you move it you can feel the inside moving inside the red shell. So you can feel this main part moving inside the shell, which I consider to be flimsy and a feeling of a really cheap device. Under this hood we have the battery, and under the battery there's the micro SD and micro SIM card slot, and it's pretty hard to remove this shell. If you saw our unboxing, you may have figured out that it's actually pretty hard to remove that shell. This is a 4.3-inch display, and while the Lumia 920 had a curved screen, the Lumia 820 has a flat AMOLED screen like on the Lumia 900. So the design can be considered less appealing than the one of the Lumia 920, but it's a bit similar to the HTC HD2, some people have said that. But overall it's a cheap quality case, and you may feel that especially when the device wiggles within the shell. Okay, so now as far as the specs are concerned, this is a quad band GSM GPRS Edge handset that offers HSDPA 42 megabytes per second speeds as far as connectivity is concerned, and the display you can see right here is a 4.3-inch screen. It's a clear black AMOLED with a resolution of 480 over 800 pixels. Pretty bright display, I have to say, but more about that in the video playback section. At the back of the handset we have an 8 megapixel camera encased in this frame right here with a dual LED flash, as you can see right here. Also we have a VGA camera placed up front, and inside this handset we got a Qualcomm MSM 8960 dual-core 1.5 GHz processor and the Adreno 225 GPU. We've got 8 GB of storage inside and 1 GB of RAM, completed by a micro SD card slot. And once again, on the connectivity side, we got Wi-Fi dual band, GPS, GLONASS, and you should probably know that we also got active noise cancelling, an accelerometer, gyroscope, proximity sensor, Bluetooth 3.0, NFC, and a digital compass. As far as the battery is concerned, well, I have to say that this is a lithium-ion 1650 mAh battery. On paper it should provide 330 hours of standby, 14 hours of 2G talk time, or 55 hours of music playback. There is also a battery saving feature, so let me show you. Let's get to the settings part and search for the battery saver. Here it is. We can turn it on or off, so the phone can turn off some services while in standby in order to preserve battery life. If you turn battery saver on, you can still receive calls and texts, but the apps will only run when you open them, and email has to be synced manually. So the idea is to try to save as much power as possible. In our tests, the Nokia Lumia 820 achieved about 8 or 10 hours of use, so about a normal working day, but only the work day. So probably by the time the day ends you'll have to charge it again. We achieved that time by using 3G, maps, browser, and doing calls. So if you're wondering about the audio quality of the device, let me bring out the headphones so you can better see them. So here we are with the headphones bundled with the device. They look very much like the ones bundled with the Nokia Lumia 920. They have good quality and they have this interesting angle of insertion in the user's ear. As you can see, it's slightly oblique, not perpendicular to the user's ear. Anyway, we got great volume and great bass from the headphones. By the way, the volume is quite huge, and I'm going to show that by playing a tune using one of my favorite Windows Phone applications, MetroTube. So let's listen to this song. Let's try it in landscape as well. This is the speaker right here. And let's try the HD. So right now we're listening to HD video. Okay, so you get the idea. The thing is that at the maximum volume everything is distorted, as you heard, but the bass sadly is not that good. The audio headphone experience is quite good, and we have a bunch of interesting settings to associate with the audio experience. The sound is clear once again at a decent volume. When you go to the max it may distort it, and frankly I was expecting just a little bit more from the bass. Headphones are flawless, as I said. So I promised you some audio options. Here we are. To activate them I will have to insert the headphones, so here we are. This is the equalizer, and you can use the custom settings or a bunch of presets like acoustical, pop, jazz, vocal cut, bass boost and all that. And we also have a Dolby headphone experience. You'll really feel that the bass becomes better once you activate this. And now let's remove them and continue with the review, this time focused on the video quality of the device. Once again, we have a 4.3-inch display here, and I'm going to showcase it by showing you the application called Nokia Trailers. So this is Nokia Trailers, and since that's the name, I'm probably going to show you a movie trailer. I'm going to choose an animation since it's colorful and it's cute. So this is the trailer. I'm going to mute down the music, it may be copyrighted. So here we go. 4.3-inch display, resolution 480 over 800 pixels. This one is an RGB stripe AMOLED display, clear black screen with deep blacks, vivid colors, very good brightness, I have to say that. We also have good viewing angles, as you can see for yourself. Pretty good viewing angles. Some people even say better than on the Nokia Lumia 920. And also nice sunlight behavior. If you're using the handset in full sunlight, there's absolutely no problem. The contrast is also pretty good. And once again, I highlight the brightness, that's very good. There is no Gorilla Glass on this display, in case you're wondering. And just like in the audio department, there are some special settings here. So not the Smart Shoot. A bit of lag on this handset, I noticed sometimes, even getting stuck at points. Okay, so as I promised, some special options for the display plus touch. We got touch sensitivity that's higher, so you can wear gloves and still use the handset. There's special silent readability option and a special brightness with battery saving option. So this is it when it comes to the screen and audio analysis. As you probably suspect, it's time for the camera. As usual, we have a camera button right here, and in order to activate the camera you just have to press it harder maybe, and then you're into the classical Windows Phone interface that hasn't changed that much in 3 years since the OS was launched. It remained minimalistic and simple. This is how the options are shown. What I can say about this camera is that it's an 8 megapixel sensor here. It's basically the same quality as the Lumia 900, if that means anything to you. If you want to know the resolution, well, the handset takes pics in resolution of 3264 pixels over 2448 pixels. Of course, that one refers to 4:3 aspect ratio. If you switch to 16:9, 3552 on 2000 pixels. As you can see, sometimes it takes very long for the shutter to actually take the picture. It takes a lot to focalize, and this is the picture I've just taken. Pretty crisp for an indoor pic, so that flash really works well. Dual LED flash yet again. And I have to mention that we're dealing with a camera with a 26mm wide angle lens, f2.2 aperture, dual LED flash, and let me show you some of the options that the camera comes with. So we got scenes like close-up, night, portrait. That's why the picture was so good. The close-up was activated. Night, portrait, sports, backlight, and of course auto. ISO levels up to 800, pretty impressive. And exposure values, white balance, daylight, fluorescent, incandescent, and aspect ratio, focus assist light, and the option to save them all. Then comes the video settings, white balance, continuous focus, and video mode. You can go to Full HD if you want to, and that's pretty much it. The other options here, switching from photo to video, turning the camera on, the front camera, the flash, and the lenses system that's already famous for most of you. So you probably want to know what the deal is with all these lenses right here. So we got Smart Shoot that uses Scalado technology. If Scalado sounds familiar, well, the BlackBerry Z10 that we just tested has the same technology. It's called Time Shift, and the idea is pretty simple. You take a shot of a person's face and you take a bunch of shots to pick from, and in one they're frowning, on one they're smiling, and you can choose the favorite facial expression of a person and keep the best shot exactly like you did on the BlackBerry Z10 and its time shift feature. There are also other lenses such as panorama, Bing Vision, and Cinemagraph that basically creates a GIF out of a photo. There's a slight delay of the shutter key, as you saw earlier. It takes a lot to focus sometimes. Frankly, sometimes I prefer to tap the screen to take a picture, as I'm trying to do right now. And even so, there's a slight lag that can annoy you. There are two steps of the lag. One step of the lag is actually taking the picture. That's lag number one, and the lag number two is actually exiting the action and returning to the camera interface to try and take another picture. So that's pretty bad if you ask me, especially since we have a dual core CPU. That's pretty good. Okay, so as I said, panorama, Cinemagraph, you should probably know that we have Carl Zeiss technology available here, and let's not only criticize the phone but also praise it, since the camera is actually pretty good. You may be under the impression that the camera is bad. It's actually not. It's the software that's pulling it down a bit here. Let me just show you what brilliant close-ups it can do. So the close-ups are the point where the camera really shines. So close-up of a butterfly eating orange, beautiful close-up, as you can see. And we have another one of a cake, of a piece of cake. So when it comes to macro and close-up, nobody beats Nokia. Really nice shots. However, the bulk of the shots may tend to be a little whitish. So there's a slight tint of white applied on top of the images for some reason. Maybe because sometimes the sun was in my face, but that tint is applied to some pictures even when the sun is not in my face. However, I like the fact that we have vivid colors and they're not oversaturated. They're pretty natural colors. There's also good contrast, and the video quality is also good. So let me show you a video that I've taken using this camera. This one with the water should do it. So let's actually hear the water. The video is filmed in Full HD, 21 mega per second, bitrate, 30 frames per second. Sadly, the audio is only mono, although we have two microphones, and sampling rate of 99 kilobytes per second. You must also know that we got a pretty nice stabilizer. It may not be the stabilizer from the Nokia Lumia 920, but it's decent. Overall, it's a good camera. It may be on the same level as the Lumia 900, and frankly speaking, it can even go head to head against the Galaxy S3, if you ask me, which is a compliment, but also a bad thing, since that wasn't one of the best cameras I tested. Okay, now it's time to jump to the software area, and I'm going to start with Internet Explorer. By the way, this is the Nokia site, well, at least one of them, and this is the virtual keyboard, comfy, you're probably used to it. And let's access our website, gsndown.com. As usual, the browser Windows Phone beats Android and iOS with its speed. Also functions pretty nicely, zooming, pinching, everything works just fine. gsndown.com, follow us. And some of the options here, like tabs, recent favorites, add to page, and some settings to play with. Okay, and I must also show some benchmarks. I cannot speak about the browser without actually proving in theory how it handles the various benchmarks. Okay, so let me just start with SunSpider. In SunSpider we scored 905 points, which is on par with the iPhone 5, a real compliment. And let's see, in BrowserMark 1717 points, which is superior to the Lumia 920 for some reason, that only scored 1600 in our test. You also saw the Antutu result. In Antutu we scored 11,610 points. We beat the Lumia 920 yet again, that only scored 10,000 points, and the HTC 8X that only scored 11,000 points. So it's a pretty cool device when it comes to benchmarks. Once again, on Windows Phone they are not quite properly optimized. If you want to know about phone calls and all that, well, we're dealing here with a handset that can do pretty clear calls, so very good audio quality. There are no signal issues whatsoever. And now let's get deeper into the Windows Phone 8 operating system. This was, after all, one of the first Windows Phone 8 devices. As you can see, I have one unified inbox here. It has both my live account emails and my Google account emails. And these are the linked inboxes, Hotmail and Google Mail linked together in a common inbox. Pretty cool feature. Some of the settings available here. You can even choose multiple Google accounts. You can even add one more Google account, Yahoo, Nokia Mail, and all that. In order to download applications, we got the Windows Phone Store with a special Nokia collection, bringing you some special apps. By the way, Windows Phone Store recently reached 145,000 apps. So not that many, but also not that little of a number. And you probably know the already familiar People Hub. You saw it in all our reviews. We got an area with what's new. Here I have my Twitter and Facebook feed with what people are doing. We've got the Together area with the rooms. This is the family room where I can gather the family photos, family notes, family members, chat and calendar. I get a few members in here and we'll all share calendars, chat and stuff like that. There are also groups, and finally the contacts list that you can see right here. So that's basically the People Hub. As you probably know already, in order to do multitasking, I keep the back button pressed and I see the apps that I'm multitasking at the same time. And in order to close one down, I go straight to it and push back. I can keep a series of back presses to actually get rid of all the apps that are open at a certain point. And you probably know the voice assistant on the device. Anyway, that's not on par with what Siri can do or Google Now can do, so not impressive. Of course, we jump to the selling points, which are the Nokia Maps and the newly called here Drive Plus Beta. It's no longer called Nokia Drive, so we got Nokia Maps. That's basically a touristic applications because it has a lot of popular places to visit. You got directions, download maps, bunch of settings like zoom control, zoom my location, and the various units to be interested in. So these are the places I was talking about. You have popular places in your area, so if you visit an area you'll learn what's interesting next to you. You can also pin stuff to the start right here, so you can jump straight to the popular places in the area from the Nokia Maps application. Obviously you can get around using maps, at least in theory, and then when it comes to practice, there comes Nokia Drive with its guidance. So these are some of the things in my area which I can see on the map. I can tap them, get photos, get reviews, see what's nearby, and that's pretty much the stuff we can do with Nokia Maps. And then comes Nokia Drive, aka Here Drive Beta Plus. This one comes with free lifetime voice guided navigation. It works offline. It allows you to download maps. You can see it in 2D or 3D. You can set a destination, save a location. Some of the settings available in here, like landmarks, map colors. You can manage maps, see the map features. You can see useful stuff while driving: car repairs, car dealers, hospitals, hotels, parkings, rest areas. We got voice navigation that you can download in a ton of languages, which is pretty cool. You can also turn on the battery saver, so a lot of options have been added. You can go offline if you want to save your roaming, or I don't know, you're out of your coverage area. You can simply use the downloaded maps and start getting around without having to use connectivity. Okay, so now let's see some of the options available here. Let's set a destination. Let's go to a recent destination. It found a route. You can also see some symbols here that stand for motorways, toll roads, ferries and tunnels. You can check them or uncheck them. You can also optimize your route for a faster one, shorter one, or balanced. So you can also optimize your gas consumption. So you can start navigating. You'll be advised what route to take. You also have speed limits alert that can go on or off, and that's pretty much it. I can stop the navigation if I want, and that's the drive experience. That's called Here experience. And then comes the productivity part with the good old Office with its Word, Excel and PowerPoint. I usually show you Word and Excel. Let's show you PowerPoint this time. So this is a PowerPoint, and this is what you can edit. You can edit the text if you want. I can write something else. You can move slide, hide a slide. So this is how you interact with various slides from a presentation. You can see all of them like this. And then you can go to a document. We have this sample document with a panda. By the way, this is how you select text. A very nifty way of selecting text, very user friendly if you ask me. And this is how you can edit stuff. A lot of options here for formatting, highlighting, font colors, strike through, various other font options. So a lot of stuff to do straight from the mobile, and then sync it if you want to. We got OneNote. There's also an area called App Highlights. Basically, this is the area to look out for when you buy the phone. It recommends what apps to download when you first buy the device, which are the most downloaded, the best, and the ones you really need to have on a handset you've just purchased. And then comes the usual selection of applications we always show you in the reviews. We got the calendar filled with birthdays synced from our Hotmail account and Facebook, birthdays all along. As you can see, there's different colors for different calendars. The Google Calendar is yellow, the Facebook Calendar is red, so you can sync more. And then we have an app called City Lens, comes from Nokia. Here it is. It's an augmented reality app. It shows you the touristic locations around you. You can select food, hotels, shopping, transport. Let's select shopping, and it shows me a map. I have to calibrate the compass. I have to move it to a figure of 8. Okay, here we go. So I can see this map right here, and what I'm looking at right now are certain shops in my area, and a huge map here with dots that stand for shops in this area. Of course, I can switch from shopping to other stuff like food. I'm sure I have many more nearby, so a lot of restaurants in the area. And that was Nokia City Lens. Okay, so other stuff that you may be interested in is the Creative Studio. If you want to tweak the pics you've taken, like this one, so let's select maybe this one. You can apply some of these filters. Let's apply the aquamarine filter, and then you can save it or you can tweak it. Once again, a bit of lag, taking a long while to save a picture. Okay, so as I said, you can also tweak it some more. These are the options. We got color balance that you can change visibly, by the way, and brightness, of course, easy to tweak, clarity, some vibrance, oversaturation even, and that's pretty much everything you can do. to a picture using the Nokia Creative Studio plus these options right here. Other applications, of course, there is the gaming, courtesy of the Xbox area, collection, and my account, find friends, game store, spotlight, and that's the Xbox area. By the way, I also tried to use the wallet for the first time since Windows Phone 8 came out. I synced my Visa card and it took about 2 or 3 minutes to sync it, which is good news since if you ever trust your Windows Phone with your card, which you should since you may want to buy apps after all. In the settings area you have to look out for a feature called Kids Corner, very useful. You select next and then you select what apps to give the children access to, what music videos and stuff like that, and then you set it on and the child will only see a brand new lock screen. He'll only see some apps, some songs, and have limited access to your content. Then there's the battery saver options, there's the company apps section in the settings, the audio section and the display section that allow you to tweak the phone. If you have a company account, you can turn this device into your company hub and interact with the other employees. So this is pretty much everything you need to know about the Nokia Lumia 820, which I once again will call the cheaper Lumia 920. And now it's time for the big old verdict, the pros and cons of this handset, that I'll just switch the color to something else. Okay, so on the pro side we have Nokia Drive, always a great advantage. Let's switch the color to green, the HTC green. Okay, so on the pros, once again, Nokia Drive, Nokia Here Drive and Nokia Maps, big advantages, appealing applications. We also have the micro SD card slot, always a nifty addition, pretty good audio quality if you don't take the volume to the max, excellent headphones by the way, lots of cool apps to play with, especially from Nokia. If it weren't for Nokia, I wouldn't say we have cool apps, and a lot of settings to play with, you saw that earlier, so a huge number of settings to have fun with. And I can say that I can really feel the Nokia's care for the user. And finally, on the con side, I frankly do not like the design, don't like it a bit, especially since the handset wiggles inside this shell. You can really feel it wiggling, which is a pretty unpleasant feeling. On other bad news, the battery, about 8-10 hours of use, the low resolution of the display. I frankly wanted more than 480 over 800 pixels. I really want more of that. Sometimes I have to say that it's a bit laggy, especially when trying to take pictures. The shutter takes forever. Sometimes the apps take forever to open. The case is very hard to open. Speaking of opening, Windows Phone 8 doesn't have enough compelling applications, and the price should probably drop just about $50 to make this device appealing. It's time to give it some grades. For design, we give it a 7.5 out of 10. For hardware, an 8.60 out of 10. And for OS and UI, an 8 out of 10, and that's only thanks to Drive and Here Maps, otherwise it would have been a 7. The total grade is 8.03 out of 10 for the Nokia Lumia 820. A pretty interesting phone. Basically it's a Nokia Lumia 900 that's been slightly dumbed down, but also upgraded in some areas. That's it from gsmknown.com. Bye bye.